You're watching Slingshot The Podcast, the misunderstood voice, the culture's power. And today's episode is entitled, Ain't No Stopping Us Now. Ain't no stopping us now.
Ain't no stopping us now. That's right. We're on the move.
We're on a move.
Let's go.
You know what kind of move we're on?
What's that move?
Episode 20 move. Episode 20 move.
Shout out to episode 20, Slingshot the Podcast. What an amazing feat that has been done right now. Informing the people, informing the good folks. Yeah.
It's been, went by pretty fast, too.
It has. It has. And I think a lot of people learned some good things, some good information.
Yeah. Well, these episodes are named after lyrics or song titles.
Mm-hmm.
So today's Ain't No Stopping Us Now. I know you love this joint.
Love that joint, Shout out to 76. 76ers are doing great, all right? But shout out to 76ers when the 76ers won the championship in the 80s. I can't remember. I think it's 83. That Ain't No Stopping Us Now became the unofficial song. That was what it was. It was the unofficial anthem. They had their own anthem. I forgot the name of that, but they had their own anthem. But that became the official. And you know what black folks put the seasoning on stuff, so we put the season on that. Yeah, for sure.
McFadden and Whitehead.
McFadden and Whitehead. Shout out to Campbell and Huff too, but. Yeah, that particular version, that's what set it off. Yeah, for sure.
Well, over the months here of filming Slingshot the Podcast, we've had several episodes that I think you really enjoyed being a part of.
Yeah, I did.
Any favorites come to mind?
I got a couple or a few actually, but the courts aren't all bad. That was a good one. I really like that one. Very informative.
Pennsylvania, you tell them to get to the polls this November and vote in this judicial election because it matters. These courts matter. They're making determinations and decisions about our lives. It doesn't have to be the worst day in your life. It could be the day that you adopt a child and the court gave you custody of a child. It could be the day you won custody of a child. It could grant you a divorce and you really wanted to be divorced, right? So the courts could actually be one of the better days in your life. And we do need to make sure we're voting in every single judicial election because they matter. And the turnout rate is so low that you...
But yeah, that was good. I like what... are they doing?
Mm-hmm. Right. WTF.
WTF. Yeah. What the you gotta say it right though. What WTF are they doing? So that was a good one. Another informative one. And Locked Up. Locked Up. That was a good one, yeah, for sure.
Named after the Akon hit.
Akon, shout out to Akon. Yeah, for sure. So
Locked Up was good. Robert Salim Holbrook was the guest on that one.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do was put eyes on the courthouse, and we wanted to bring transparency and accountability to a arm of the carceral state that often is overlooked.
Without no, shout out to him. He gave a lot of knowledge based around that. I think the ex-offenders, I always say that if you want to, we talked about being informed, right? But if you want to make change and you want to target whatever issues and topics, whatever that you're on, talk to people who was in that space. Don't make decisions for them. Don't try to create policy without them. They can tell you what's actually going on in them streets and in the trenches, so to speak. And so having him on talking about his experience, I thought that was dope.
Yeah. I mean, we always say that those closest to the pain need to be closest to the power. And if you're someone formerly incarcerated, you were close to the pain. Obviously. Yeah. So now he's part of the power. Yeah. The power structure, trying to bring about change in the community and for those who are incarcerated currently.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Oh, dope, yeah.
I really enjoyed the long episode we had, Reading Rainbow.
Ah, yeah. I forgot.
With author Brent Johnstone.
Yeah, shout out to Brent. Yeah.
Radner explained this to me. She said, Brent, we get so much positive about Radner being this #1 school district at the time it was in Pennsylvania. She said, but what they don't tell you, on average, we spend $1 million in just reading tutors.
Wow.
In Radnor. Those kids aren't reading any better than a kid at 32nd in Oxford somewhere, right? But they have the resources to pay for them. Our resources came through that special ed,
Right.
those IEPs.
Because we fund our public schools by property tax. And
One of the
when
most
you live
racist.
in Radnor, right, your zip code has a much different tax base than 19121 or whatever it may be.
Exactly. And
Temple grad.
TU.
There we go. TU.
TU, mother. Yeah. You know, TU. They say owls are everywhere.
Owls are everywhere.
Owls are everywhere.
And you know, we don't really plan to have a whole lot of Temple grads here,
Yeah.
but the podcast, we've had lots of Temple grads
Yeah,
here.
yeah. That's right.
We had another Temple grad. One of my favorite episodes was Ballers' Lives Are Political Too.
Oh yeah. That one was good too.
And then we had Paul Boo Boo Palmer,
Yeah.
College Football Hall of Famer,
Hall of
on the
Fame.
episode.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, a lot of the brothers at the table didn't know.
Right.
I'm like, do you know who that is? Every time you see Martin Luther King, you see Governor George Wallace. Do you know who he is? So at that point, man, I'm kind of amped up about going up there.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what I'm going to do. And I'm angry as hell that they had the nerve to have that racist SOB at the table.
He had a great story to tell
Great
about
story to tell.
his meeting with who was the governor of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
great story to tell.
That was cool. That was pretty cool. If you ain't see that, you have to watch that. Yeah, he was a little upset for that one, but yeah, that was cool.
And I know you were triggered by one episode, the one We Don't Have to Stay Here.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, I got triggered for a lot of them, but that one pissed me off.
Yeah.
You know, but we that one ruffled my feathers a little bit. I forgot about that. It was a lot of great content that you produced, that you put together, and topics that you had conversations about, and other people had, you jogged, curiosity and made people research, and I think that was great about what was going on too. Yeah.
Well, I'll never forget that episode, because that's the episode where I talked about how a man told me to go back to Africa.
What was your name again?
My name is John McCarthy. What's your name?
And what was your company?
You guys are such losers. What kind of activists are you?
We're not
What kind of
activists.
activists are you? You don't even want to talk about. You guys are ridiculous. Yet you are a political activist who doesn't want to talk about what we stand for. You people are pathetic. You're pathetic. Go back to Africa.
That pissed me off right there. I wanted to find him.
We don't have to. He's in jail right now.
Yeah, hold on. I got to applause somewhere. There we go. Yeah, good. He need to be there.
He's in jail
Yeah.
right now.
Absolutely.
He should be.
Yeah. That was very inappropriate. Yeah, absolutely.
That was the episode we were talking about Kilmore Abrega Garcia.
Mm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The man deported. All that drama that ensued after that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my favorite episode was probably one of the later ones, which was My Vote Don't Count.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed that one because I got to talk about the importance of the courts and give a little why courts matter in there, a little presentation in that episode.
Yeah.
You know, there's one thing I didn't mention, and that is what could happen if Pennsylvanians decide that they want to do something that they usually don't do.
Right.
If Pennsylvania,
That's scary.
you decide not to retain these judges for some reason, they aren't running against somebody else. There's no challenger. The seat just becomes vacant.
Yeah.
Well, we've had a lot, so I hope that folks, I hope you go back, go to YouTube, go to the YouTube page, and see all the previous episodes.
Watch the episodes. Go now. Slingshot the podcast. Go now. Start from episode 1. Watch them all the way through. A lot of great content. Shout out to Tish too in the building. Did a lot of great work behind the scenes and putting all these episodes together, the socials, everything that you see. Shout out to Tish, put her stamp on it. Yeah, for sure.
You know what? Well, this is a perfect time to take a little break.
Yeah,
because when we come back, we're going to be joined by Tish. We're going to be joined by Tisha Crippen. Tisha Crippen, and we can't wait to have her in the building. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching Slingshot the Podcast. This is more than just a podcast. This is a movement to inspire and motivate and mobilize. This is for those whose voices have been unheard, misunderstood, undervalued, and underserved. We're going to talk about sports, culture, entertainment, and we're going to use this to build power in our communities. Welcome back. You're watching Slingshot the Podcast, and today's episode is entitled Ain't No Stopping Us Now. So I'm so delighted to have Tisha Crippen in the building.
How you doing?
You're in the building. Welcome to Delaware County.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yes.
So Tisha Crippen, if you don't know who she is, you need to get to know who Tisha Crippen is. She is the owner of Touch Management and also the editor of Slingshot The Podcast.
Love that.
I love that you're here for the final episode of the season.
Me too. This is so special and so different
Yes.
being here instead of there.
Right. So you've edited 19 of these already.
19. Wow. That's a lot of work, Kadida. Like a lot of people, I've been doing this for a long time. A lot of people don't make it this far, this consistent. Kudos to you and the team.
Well, thank you. I couldn't do it without you. I couldn't do it without Charles Gregory. So this is a team effort.
Happy to be here. Happy to serve.
Yes.
Because that's what it is. We're serving.
We serve, because we're educating the public out here with a lot of good information. So, Tisha, now you got to tell us, tell us all about Touch Management. What is it all about? And who are you anyway?
So, who am I? So, I'm owner of Touch Management. So, I started Touch Management probably 15, 16 years ago, where I've always been in production my whole life. So, those of you who know me, you've always seen me behind the camera. Shout out to my partner in crime, Charles Gregory, co-host of the Slingshot Podcast, because we started this journey together. In 2012, we have been in production. So today, with Touch Management, what we really focused on is doing social media content, video production, and media training for nonprofits and small business owners. So really have been able to move more into the social aspect of getting content out there, because it's too much going on right now and we don't have time to be looking cute and playing games on the internet. We have work to do. Right. So that's what we've been doing at Touch Management.
And that's where so many people are getting all their information right now anyway.
Yeah. This is where you get the information. And so we're really passionate about making sure that nonprofits are articulating their messages clearly, and that they're doing it sexy, right? Because sometimes the work that we do, justice work, social work, equity work, it's not always sexy for folks. So what I really like to do is make sure that you all look good, we're staying fun, we're looking fresh, we sound cool, so that we can really get that message to trickle down to folks who aren't typically paying attention.
What I love about Tisha the most is that she's here for it. She's here for all of it. And I can hit her up at 9:00 at night. I can hit her up at 7:00 in the morning. I can say, can you do this to this episode? Can you do this? And she is here for it. So I really appreciate you for that.
No, listen, don't tell everybody that, because listen.
You're not going to do that for everybody.
I might not, but no. And in all honesty, it has been such a pleasure working on the Slingshot Podcast, because the work that you do in the New Pennsylvania Project is like life or death for me. And so when we talk about being able to, like I said, serve, if we got to get the message out, we got to get it out. If it's not right, we got to make it right. It has to be accurate. It has to be correct. It has to be swift. It has to go out. And so there's this sense of urgency that I have, I think, with this type of work, where we don't have time to waste. No. We're not playing games. No.
I appreciate you wearing Slingshot the Podcast gear today, the swag.
Fly too, and good quality. Shout out to whoever made it. That's right. All t-shirts aren't equal.
That's right.
Thank you for the gear.
Yeah. So I know that you really enjoy this podcast because you're into politics.
I am.
Yeah. Because our lives are political.
Our lives are political. Yes. And I was born into this. Let me tell you. I am a daughter of a U.S. Air Force veteran woman. My father is an Air Force veteran. I come from a line of veterans. My grandmother sued the Board of Education because my mother and her sister could not go to the school that she knew her daughters needed to go to in New York City. Okay, so when we talk about activism and my mom, ERA, She's in ERA documentaries. She's the first person. They kicked her out of the Capitol
Wow.
for saying,
Some good trouble.
good. My mom is good trouble. So when I'm born into activism, being politically astute, understanding what's happening around me, my grandmother recorded the OJ trial. Okay, like that's how deep it gets. So I just love, I don't know. And in school, I wasn't really into it like that. But when you start to see the impact and how things really happen in real life, you're like, oh no, I got to get involved.
That's right.
That's me. Love it.
So in the previous segment, Charles, Gregory, and I, we were talking about our favorite episodes.
Ooh.
So I know you have to have a favorite episode or 2 or 3.
Listen, I got all kinds of favorites, and I got the inside scoop because nobody saw the stuff that I saw. I got the raw cut edit, right?
Yeah, you do.
I did have some favorite episodes. A couple that come to mind is, I think Charles mentioned this earlier, the WTF are they doing episode. Yeah. It was funny editing that episode because he just wanted to say the F word so bad. Yeah. Yes. And he just, he was just kept inching. I was like, do I have to find a mute button somewhere? But I like that episode because it made me feel like, oh, I get to really do some good stuff. Like I get to really have fun. Like we're not being safe here with this conversation. Like we get to go there on this podcast. Oh no, I'm here for all of this. So it was very freeing, that episode, the title being as provocative as it was and the whole conversation. So that was one of mine because I like the saucy, spicy stuff. I also loved the Locked Up episode. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to like my political involvement and things that I'm really passionate about is those who are formerly or currently incarcerated. Like that, they call it reentry work, whatever. Like that's my jam. A lot of my family has had justice impacted, and the way he talked about Mr. Holbrook, he giving me the cases that allowed him to come out as a juvenile lifer. It was extremely informative, and his court watching.
Yes, the court watching.
What?
Yeah.
And so we send people into judges' courtrooms to watch them, to take notes on how they are acting in the courtroom, their demeanor toward people in the courtroom, how they are sentencing people into the courtroom. And what those folks do is they come out and they put together reports on the judges. They also, we release these reports to the community so that people can actually see what judges are doing.
Yeah. I didn't even know that people were doing that like that. Mm-hmm. I love that. So that was really informative. I love that episode.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying the work. Yes. So, sometimes this work gets a little deep. Mm-hmm. It can be a little triggering. Mm. Any episodes a little alarming to you at all that you had to edit and sit through multiple times watching?
I think it was also not the double dip, but I think it was also that WTF episode because I think around then, that's when he had just got elected and the shit started hitting the fan. And y'all kept reminding me, and it was just like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now? Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Right? And so that really, like, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. That really put me in a place where I was like, okay, something else is happening. Like 2020, Project 2025 is actually a thing.
And we're like 15 episodes later, and it's still...
It's hot and heavy.
With the F is still going on.
It's getting worse.
Yeah.
It's getting worse.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to end this segment on a positive note, right? So there has to be some of your favorites. Like you had joy. Like what episode brought you joy when you recorded it? And you were watching maybe like whoever the guest was, and you were like, oh, I'm really enjoying this guest.
All right, I'm cheating. I got 2 things, right? Yeah. So one, Brent Johnstone, Fathers Read 365. I love him. He was a guest on our show. We talked weekly way back in the day. He's been doing this for a long time. So to see him on the show and him being able to talk about all the work since then, I just love anytime he gets a platform, I'm here for it. So that brought me a lot of joy. But the most joy I got was watching y'all crazy butts in the middle of these edits. Because whenever there was a blooper, they would look at the camera and be like, I'm sorry, Tisha. And so it got to a point where I couldn't take out like dead spots. Right. I had to watch the dead spots because those were my notes on like what you want. He's like, hey, look, take this part, put it at the beginning, and then flip it over. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I listened to them. Yeah. So those had me cracking up every time.
So even in this episode we're filming right now, there were some bloopers. So maybe if I'm producing this show right now, maybe you're going to find some of the bloopers from earlier and put them at the end of the episode so folks can see.
Listen, I'm going to try to dig some of them up because they are so funny. And then Kadida, shit. I'm like,
that's what I said. Yeah.
So no, those always made me laugh.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're happy to be joined by Tisha Crippen, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more. And Charles Gregory is going to join us, too. You're watching Slingshot the Podcast, the misunderstood voice, the culture's power, at New Millennium Multimedia Studios. Welcome back. You're watching Slingshot the Podcast, and we are joined with Tisha Crippen. She is the editor of Slingshot the Podcast, and we're happy to have her today. And we're rejoined by Charles Gregory in the building.
Yeah, we in the building. So.
Here's your opportunity to ask some questions.
Yeah.
Here's your opportunity to ask some questions to Tisha.
Questions.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. How about that?
I've never done this
Tish
before.
questions. Wow. That's big. No doubt. For sure.
I'll start it off. Now, Tisha, you live in Bucks County.
I do.
Bucks County is interesting. I'll say as someone who leads a voting rights organization.
Tell them.
I call Bucks County the bane of my existence.
Oh,
wow.
I believe it.
Very difficult to organize in. Very difficult to organize in.
Why is that, though?
A lot of reasons.
Okay.
I'll start off by saying we just put an office into Bucks County a couple months ago because we are dedicated to cracking this nut that I call Bucks County. It's difficult because Bucks County is like a microcosm of Pennsylvania.
It sure is.
Like every different part of Bucks County is like every different part of Pennsylvania. So it makes it very difficult to organize in.
And it's big.
Yeah, it's a big county. So Tisha, you live in Bucks County, and I know that we've had some conversations about your politics and where you stand on things. Now, we don't all agree on everything all the time.
We are Black folks. Yeah. We are not a monolith.
Right.
So, to your point, we're going to disagree here a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Probably a lot. No,
but I'll say this, though. We're coming out of Thanksgiving not too long ago. What we don't have probably in our community is arguments about politics too much at the Thanksgiving table. Did you have any arguments at your Thanksgiving table about politics?
No, not necessarily, but there was people on the left that I was very disappointed about that literally was telling people that if one of your family members voted a certain way, it's okay to cut them off and not have Thanksgiving with them. And that totally threw me off. I said, how? To your point, if there's an understanding that black folks aren't a monolith, then how would you or consider cutting someone off because they have a difference of opinion than you? So that really frustrated me. Yeah.
So I found interest in Tisha, months ago when we were having a conversation about her elected officials in Bucks County. And so Tisha lives in Congressional District 1. Congressional District 1. And
for those who don't know, what does that mean?
So this means that she has Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick
That's right.
Okay.
as her congressperson representing Bucks County in Washington, D.C. And Congressman Fitzpatrick is known supposedly to be a centrist, someone that you can sway, and doesn't always vote the wrong way, although he's a Republican.
He's a Republican.
Right? And we were talking about this, and Tisha was sharing, her voting pattern a little bit. And so I'm going to let you tell it. So a conversation, what were we talking about?
Yeah. So, I like to consider myself a moderate Democrat. Is that the proper term? So, Brian Fitzpatrick is my congressman. Okay. I'm very involved in my community. I'm on the Juneteenth committee. I'm at all the things. We're in the school board meetings. We are active. And when we have things, Brian Fitzpatrick is there. He shows up. Typically, if he's in state, I'm surprised I've seen him in person so many times, to be honest with you. I actually took a picture with the guy at the Juneteenth, actually African American Day, right? And so, Brian Fitzpatrick has a very difficult district, as you mentioned, because he has to be in the center. There are a lot of black folk, people of color in District 1. Tons of them, right? There's a lot of poor white folk in that district as well. There are a lot of liberal, wealthy, super wealthy folks, Upper Bucks County, right? And so he has to, and then you have the Levitt-towners who are descendants of Levitt, essentially. They the ones who got those houses then. Yeah, no, they're still there.
Right.
He built that town for those veterans, and they live there. They're still there. My mom, papa, still there.
Yeah.
So, and they don't like me being there. Okay, so he has to play to everyone, and I get it. That's a seat. That's like a legacy seat. His brother was this. He held that seat prior. He passed away. God rest his soul. So he's got to do everything, and I get it. I don't think a Democrat's going to win in that district. I just don't think there's enough. I think out of the wealthy, if I had to stereotype folks, the wealthy folks who live in Bucks County are voting Republican. I don't think they're really voting Democrat in that way. And so as long as he keeps his people in his town, because he's from Levittown, so he can't ignore Levittown. Yeah. They all know him personally. Yeah. So he's got to take care of those poor people. He's got to make sure his schools have money. They cut pre-K, Head Start. He brought that sucker back in his district. Sure enough, right away.
Now, when we had this conversation, because you spoke to the fact that he shows up in community, you will see him out. And then we had a conversation about what that does when he is elected, when there's a tightness in the U.S. Congress. And so it depends on how many Republicans are elected versus how many Democrats to decide whether or not who has the speaker's gavel. So right now we have Mike Johnson, a Republican with the speaker's gavel. So when we had that conversation, and I said, well, when you elect someone such as that, you give the speaker's gavel to somebody that you may not want to see with a speaker's gavel.
Right.
So how do you feel about that when you're still voting that way?
Well, and so what she's alluding to, I voted for Brian Fitzpatrick. I checked the box. Okay. I did not vote down Republican, just one little box. I said, you know what? All right. And, I think there are consequences to voting like that. And I think all votes have consequences, to be honest with you.
So real quick, so it's not a closed primary there? Like, if you're a Democrat, do you have to vote?
So with the primary, I gotta vote Democrat. Okay, I'm voting on a Democrat ticket.
I just want to see if it's similar to Philadelphia.
Yeah, but when we vote for the general primary, I mean not for the general election, I voted that one individual. The person who was running against them, I know what I was going to get. I wasn't quite sure. I knew what I was getting with Brian. So, but then to your point, we lose the House. He pick and choose what he want to vote on for Democrat and Republican stuff.
But this is what I want to say about that. He's given the opportunity to do that. To save face a lot of times so that he can say, see how bipartisan I am? Yeah. You see how I cast this ballot for this thing that's going to greatly impact black people, right? But at the same time, I'm going to vote the wrong way on everything else. But I'm giving grace right now by my colleagues in D.C. to say, go ahead, Brian. Go ahead and vote this way so you can appease lower bucks in this moment. But then this is what gives us Mike Johnson.
So you believe that it's an agenda behind how he moves? Like,
oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. He's got to be strategic because he's got to keep his seat.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is he has Democrats voting him in office.
Like you.
Yes.
So I just want to jump in. I'm not part of that. I'm Philadelphia. But one of I say is my favorite Democratic Republican is David O.
Okay.
I have seen David O in places where I haven't seen Democratic leadership.
Absolutely.
And so when questioned, would I vote for a David O? Absolutely I would, because I support people who are out there in those streets doing the work, right? And so, to your point, if you have seen him out there doing the work at these meetings, having conversations, really doing the work, I struggle with not voting for someone simply because they're not affiliated to my party.
Yeah, but what if the votes that are the wrong votes and maybe our collective opinions, such as going against voting rights bills and voting for the SAVE Act and things like that are going to strip away voting rights? I mean, how does that settle with you that you're voting for him for these things that you appreciate, but there's some really problematic votes that he's making too?
Yeah, I think it's the risk that I took, and it's something that I have to deal with. It's like a L you just got to take. But at the end of the day, what I would like to see going forward, I don't want to feel like I'm in that position. I want to be able to say, like, I know who this Democrat is, and I think that they're going to vote on my behalf. Yeah. Because guess what? Guess how I got played the other way? Yeah. Y'all want to talk about it? Yeah. Fetterman.
I was going to
played me all the way because I'd have been having Fetterman shirts. I was trying to go to Fetterman's rap.
But that's my point though, right? How do you qualify that then, right? When you have someone that's a Democrat that acts like a full right-wing Republican to a degree, right? So how do you qualify being against one thing when you have someone on the Democratic side literally doing the exact same thing? Yeah, it's hard for me, and I'm probably a traditional Democrat. And I say traditional because I believe the Democratic Party have moved a little left than in policy and some of the things that they stand for, but I struggle with how strongly Democrats sit on positions that reflect what Republicans do and try to qualify that they have a legitimate gripe in the behaviors when some of the right do the same things. And so I don't know. I think
you have to consider though, I'm not a ride or die Democrat. I'm not here to talk about the Democrats, right? Yeah. So, but I'll say this. It's a big tent. There's a lot of different, there's a very eclectic group that belongs to the Democratic Party. And you are never going to appease all of that big old tent in anything.
Agreed.
Right? And so I think that Republicans, they fall in line and they're going to get behind whoever it is, no matter if they really agree with that person or not.
That part.
Yeah.
And we need to start taking a page out of their playbook. I mean, what you just saying that, like, all right, maybe we just need to get in line, no matter who, because that's how you take over things.
Well, then what is it going to take then? Because we're coming up now. 2026 is upon us. There's already been announcements for folks who are going to be running against Brian Fitzpatrick. What do you need to hear from somebody to change your mind? What do they need? Because you don't know him. You said you know who Brian Fitzpatrick is.
Yeah.
So who is it going to take for you to go away from Brian Fitzpatrick? What is that person going to have to? What qualities do they have to have for you? What characteristics?
They're going to have strong leadership qualities because they have to. I need to know that they can handle my district because that's a tough. Like them Levittowners don't play.
Right. So when you say, because I want you to define that. When you say tough, what do you mean?
Like
exactly.
and the most, and I'm saying this the wrong way. Those white folks down there, they're not scared of you.
Okay.
They will lay you out. They will go up to Brian and lay him out like they're his mother or father. Like they're tough folks. They're passionate folks, right?
Working class people.
That's what I say. They're poor. They're working class folk. They saw their jobs leave them, so they're not playing with you. So if you're going to run District 1, you got to have a tough spine, a strong spine, backbone. You got to be, articulate and be strong in leadership, and you gotta have some clout down there because that's a townie.
Yeah.
It can't be an outsider.
So that sounds very similar to the gentleman who we had, and his son was down here, but he was talking about Chester.
Corey Long.
Yeah, Corey Long.
Corey,
Right. And that sounds very similar to how Chester is. Like the black folk in Chester, they're really strong to their town, really serious, don't play, but that's how they are, you know.
Right.
They don't like out of towners, right? They're specific to their part. And I just thought that's, you know, I'm trying to find a correlation, right, between how understanding the way that you have these Levittowners versus Chester is that similar, you know, it's the juxtaposition, that type of thing. Yeah.
These folks haven't left their community. They've been
like
there for forever. There's not a lot of transplants. It's becoming so. Newsflash! All those New Yorkers are
they're coming in,
flooding in.
Yeah.
I'm talking about hot and heavy.
Yeah.
So they better hold their horses.
They come in here too. Go back home. I'm sorry. I know I should. We love New York.
We have some fans from New York right now.
I love New York. I love New York.
My mama's a New Yorker, so I can't say that.
My family is in New York, but Philly's already too crowded. Like,
It is, but you know, people like the vibes. They like what they can get without having to be in New York. And at the end of the day, like with this 2026, we have to. I could tell you what we got to do in those areas. We have to start really preparing our own candidates. Like we really got to start doing that. We got to stop sitting back and waiting for who's going to run. I should know.
Yeah.
Like we all should know who's up next.
Well, we do.
I agree with that. Go ahead.
So I'll say this though, right? Because we are a closed primary state, Pennsylvania, the whole state, closed primary. So there are already folks who have announced that they're going to be seeking to run against him from the Democratic Party.
Right.
So we won't get into that in this episode, but we'll talk about this for sure.
We need to talk
if we come back as an if we come back here as a podcast in 2026, we're definitely going to talk about Bucks County and what's happening there.
Shout out to Bucks County. My son played baseball, and we out there a lot. Yeah, shout out to Bucks. I mean, a lot of white folk, but everybody was, you know, contrary to the stereotypes. I was always treated. I hate to sound like that, but we was always treated very nicely out there.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Again, working class folk. They regular down to earth people. You just can't play with them like that.
Yeah.
Well, we spent a lot of Sundays as a family. We spent a lot of Sundays up in New Hope.
Oh yeah.
So we do shopping up in New Hope, and we hang out around the water over there. So
it's safe in New Hope.
Yeah, I really enjoyed New Hope. I like the shopping.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. Okay. Well, we're going to come towards the end because I know Tisha will go on all day.
Yeah,
you'll go on with her.
Yeah, I know. That's right.
So what we're going to close out with here is I want to talk about Slingshot the Podcast today, right here, our 20th episode.
I got to find, where's my applause?
Yeah, find the applause.
There we go. Yeah, for sure.
And this has been such a joy for me to be involved in Slingshot the Podcast. Many of you know, I lead a voting rights organization. I'm very busy with that. And this is what brings me joy. I'm a journalist by trade. So I love this camera. I love it, right? I love this. And I want to be able to bring back Slingshot the Podcast in 2026 because I believe that our mission statement of Slingshot the Podcast still stands, is that we have to find a way to bring folks into this conversation, realizing that our lives are political. So we can talk about culture, we could talk about sports, we can talk about food and music, at the same time realizing that there's something political behind all of it.
Yeah.
And that's what Slingshot does. And I hope that we're able to find the funding to bring this back in 2026, because I want to continue to be with you all and work with you all and shoot these episodes and talk about important subjects.
Can I make a call to action?
Well,
we need your support. Donate. We need the donors out there. Because excellent transition. Because I think the interesting thing is a lot of this work can't be done without the people, right? And so we need the support and the help from the people. And so make sure you reach out, contact Kadida, Slingshot the Podcast, contact us and make a donation, make a sensible donation to keep stuff like this going in. Potentially you can be a guest on the show. And so if you disagree with anything we say, come on down and talk to us. Come on Come on down like the Price is Right and support us. Show us a contrasting take. Let us know how you feel, and be the culture's voice.
That's right.
Yeah. I just want to good, right?
So I have a parting question for each of you.
Yeah, for sure.
For our final episode of 2025. What's going to happen in 2026? And try to answer that in a minute. What's going to happen in 2026? Who wants to be on the hot seat first? What do you think is going to happen? What's going to happen politically? Who might win the championships? What's going to happen in 2026, you think? Eagles winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, of course. Go
Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Are you kid? Absolutely. Sixers might even go. I like that. I like that young buck. VJ. I like that young buck. Maxie, VJ.
He working with Maxie. Nice.
Yeah, all day. I think that's going to be cool.
Good double team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Listen. It's going to get rough in 2026. It's going to be rough because America's going to have a rude awakening. They're going to have to face their demons. Getting out of 2025 is going to be the easy part, but making it through 2026, you're going to have to put some work in. Yeah. And we're going to have to be like really banded as a community to get through this.
Yeah. I always said, just to go back to something that both of you guys were saying, I think in terms of strategy and that everybody need to get in line, we needed to be talking about a project, like our own project 2025.
We supposed to have a project 2026.
26, 27, 28, especially when the Joker, he's trying to, stay in certain places, potentially that could happen if we don't do our work, and so we have to, we have to align. And I think the problem, there's too many different thoughts that we need. Everyone has to be right. Everyone has to be a contrarian, but we can all disagree, but get in line to agree on something. Yeah.
Well, every year I say that this year is the most important election of your life. And in 2026, that election will be the most important election in our lives. So I wanted to part here, this episode today. I want to thank you both for being with the podcast, Slingshot the Podcast, for all these episodes, episode 20, and here we are, celebration. And I wish everyone out there watching today a happy holiday season. And I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you and your family have a good time. And at the same time, I hope that some of you get into some good trouble, some good angelic troublemaking at the dinner tables and all the various events that are happening. And that you talk to your family and have conversations. We're too scared to talk about politics, religion, and all the things. So you can talk about weather, but you can also sneak in all the other things that are political because our lives are political.
That's right.
So with that, I want to wish you all a happy holidays from Slingshot the Podcast to you. I want to thank Tisha for being the editor extraordinaire. And I want to thank Charles Gregory for being my partner in crime all these months.
Yeah.
And with that, we wish you happy holidays from Slingshot the Podcast. Thanks for watching us. I'm Kadida Kenner, and you're watching Slingshot the Podcast, the misunderstood voice, the culture's power.